Well, good evening. Good evening. Welcome to my show, Real Talk with Lequita Taylor. I'm so excited. We're growing. As I said, you all just keep sharing, subscribing. We're growing. And I thank God for that. I told you our podcast is a whole nother different type of way. It's not about politics. It's not about negative things and spreading when someone has gotten killed. That happens a lot. But my podcast that I have, I want to encourage people. That's why I'm having all walks of life. The people that are in the community, people just regular people that they have a testimony. Because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So I thank God for everyone that keeps on watching, keeps sharing, because God is really blessing. And I told you right now we're on the gravel. Keep going, we're gonna be on the blacktop. So I thank God for my team, and again, I just ask that you all continue to listen, continue to follow, continue to help us grow with Real Talk with Lequita Taylor. Well, this evening I have a very special guest. She's awesome. She's very well known in the community. I've known this young lady for a long time. I was so honored that she stays busy just like I do. And when I called her, she said she wanted to be on and it was no problem today. So I was really excited to have her on, and I'm going to say a little bit about her, and then I'm going to turn it over and let her kind of talk. We're just going to have a back and forth conversation. Being in business, she has a history. She's been around a long time. Just a powerful woman. And what I like about her, I love people that may be high up where people see you, but you're humble in who you are. And I like that about her. So let me tell a little bit about it, and then I'm going to turn this over to her and let her we're going to have some questions and let her kind of talk about some things in her life. Well, Rosalind, I'll go into it later, was born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. She has two sons, Lawrence and Donald. She has two grandsons. She tickles me with that, and one great granddaughter. She finally got that granddaughter, and one great grandson. She has been the owner and publisher and everything else with the Urban Spectrum. So help us, those that can, welcome Rosalind Bee Harris. Thank you. Though I just appreciate you. Look so pretty. Your style. You have your own way. You represent. You've been seeing and sharing with a lot of people just who you are. So we just want to know about Bee. So tell a little about you and where you, how you. I'm gonna ask you things. Just talk about you.
All right. Well, first of all, let me say thank you, Laquita, for inviting me.
Yes.
You caught me on an open night.
Yes.
I'm glad you called me because I know you had asked me before to
Yes.
participate, and this night was a good night.
Yes.
So thank you for that. A little bit about me. I have been publishing this wonderful award-winning publication for 38 years.
Man, it's a blessing.
So we've got another celebration coming up next month, actually. Well,
Okay.
anniversary. I won't say celebration because I don't think we're having really a serious celebration. But yeah, I moved to Denver in 1980. I was born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Went to school, went to UNO, University of Nebraska, at Omaha. That was one at Omaha. The other one is in Lincoln, Nebraska. Somebody was asking me earlier where did I go, but I didn't go to the one in UNO in Lincoln, but I was at UNO at Omaha.
Let me
The
ask you
cornhusk.
something. I just want to ask you this while you're talking. What brought you from Michigan to the University of Omaha?
You know what? This was my journey, and I actually moved from home when my oldest son Lawrence was a year old.
Okay.
He was a
Okay.
year old. I went to Davenport Business College for a year after I got out of high school, but he was a year old, and I actually left. And I think about this because when I moved, I had a red trunk. That's what I left with, with his clothes, a
Man.
red trunk, kind of flowers on it, But when I left there, I actually went to Minneapolis. I
Okay.
had met some girlfriends in Omaha and Grand Rapids, and we just became very good friends. And they lived in Minneapolis, so that's when I moved to Minneapolis, and I went to school there. Worked there at Minneapolis. Went to school. Patricia Stevens. I have to always remember because I have transition just within those few years. But I went to I lived in Minneapolis, St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Okay. Okay.
And then from there, I met. Let me see. How did I get to Omaha? Oh, it still was a man.
Oh, be you a mess. Okay.
I met this wonderful McSwain family.
Okay.
My brother,
Okay.
my brother-in-law. He lives in Chicago right now, but he comes to Denver quite a bit.
Okay.
I've seen him before.
Okay.
He's a singer. As a matter of fact, he was here at our recent celebration. So he's my brother-in-law, but his brother was my
companion, friend.
companion.
Yeah.
And he has passed away in the last several years. But so I met them in Minneapolis. They were going to Antioch College. They were all going to law school.
Okay.
So then that took me to Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I went to Omaha because that was their home. And there I met a very good friend. I have to just talk about her. Her name is Beth Shannon. And, we worked at Omaha National Bank.
Okay.
We were chartographers. We did all the graphic design work. Oh, when I went to Minneapolis, that's when I learned, took up graphic design.
Okay.
So that's why, I had the graphic design and fashion merchandising. That's where I went to school.
Okay.
When I went to Minneapolis, and for those who remember, Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yes.
I was going to school on LaSalle Court, 16th Street, LaSalle Court. And I was actually looking out the window when Mary Tyler Moore was throwing that hat up.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. And that was my days when it was Prince days.
Yes.
And what's the other ones? Morris Day and Time.
Man.
I had met Morris Day and Time at a club, but I never did meet Prince.
Okay.
But Morris Day and Time. So Minneapolis was, it was a melting pot. It was a melting pot.
Now, what after the things that you had did coming and going to moving from Michigan and you were in Omaha, and then what brought you? Okay, we talked about that with Denver. When you got here to Denver, what made you decide? Okay, did you first start out doing writing and advertising?
No, I was a graphic designer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell the difference.
Well, a graphic designer designs and make this publication wonderful.
Okay.
You do ads. I was doing a lot of freelance work, and I was working at some print shops. I designed logos and designed business cards and stationery. But when I did go to school at UNO, my minor was mass communication.
Okay.
And then I was majoring in fine arts. So that's how they kind of merged together. But so after I moved here, I was doing a lot of just design work, souvenir books.
Okay.
I even did some for CBWPA years ago, just for the Black Chamber. So I was more of a graphic designer.
You had some bad stuff over the years.
I was a graphic designer, just designing logos, and business cards and stationery packages and souvenir books and programs like that, menus, whatever they needed, anything that needed to be printed. So then in 1987, several years after that, I got approached by a couple of guys, Robert Stewart. I don't know if you remember Robert. But Robert, he approached me and he said, I want to start a publication. I said, oh, okay, just like that. I said, well, go on and work on the business plan and come back and see me.
Okay.
And, I didn't hear from him, So then this other guy, Ron Steele, called me. I want to start a publication. It's like I got hit on my head again, And so Ron Steele, I said, okay, well, let's check with Robert and see about this the business plan, because he was going to work on the business plan. I said, Robert, how's that business plan going? He said, I forgot all about that,
Okay.
He forgot about it. And so then we all got together. And after we got together, the first publication, we went out and we had to get advertising dollars, to get it paid for. So we knew it was going to cost, I still remember, $1,100 to print the publication.
Okay.
And we went out and got $1,102.
Okay.
Yeah. So then the rest is history. Still didn't make any money for about a year. We had freelance writers, the whole hustle and bustle of getting ads and, having writers write, to get the stories out. But after the first month, Ron Steele said, it's too much work for me. He said, I'm out of here. He came on as a photographer.
Okay.
Yeah, and he
Okay.
went to the Indianapolis Star, and he was a great photographer. So then it was myself and Robert. So we carried it on from there. Then Robert
And
eventually, things changed, and Robert eventually was gone, and it's just been in my lap for all these years. Robert's been gone from the publication for many years, so it's just been my little baby.
when he left and said, "Okay, I'm tired," and when did you really know that? Okay, this is my calling. Whether I have someone or not, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to just leave things. And I just figured, this is what I was supposed to do. I did have a minor. I did have a graphic design graphic design expertise because, quite frankly, I put the publication together up until maybe since last June. I mean, literally. I've done that for all those years as the graphic designer, and putting it together page by
Okay.
page.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think it was my calling. I just never. It was a business, and it's just like I'm not going to walk away from it because there was a need. Even when we had a fire in 19 3 years, 2 years after we had been in, had the business, and we had a fire, and I saw the need because people rallied. They had fundraisers. They had
Okay.
fundraisers.
Okay.
Opalanga Pew.
Uh-huh.
And we had fundraisers at different places, clubs, even the building that we had the fire in. We had a Halloween party. I mean, we had a party. It was a masquerade party. Even with all the
Yeah.
damage.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's been a journey, definitely journey.
So
Just
you're a visionary. You're like I am.
yeah,
I once I see things and then I kind of sit
yeah,
back. It's almost like me in the funeral business. When I go into a church, it can be a church I've never been into, and then I always go and look. One way, and I tell my staff, you cannot get used to the way that we do.
right.
I'm one of those, when you're in Rome, you do what Romans do.
Mm-hmm.
Some funeral homes, they don't want, some churches, they don't want the hearse here. And then they want to go somewhere else. Well, that's what we're there for. We're there to accommodate. So when I go and I look, I said, okay, this is small, but I'll make this flow this way. So I'm an organizer. I used to do weddings.
Right.
And I look and make it happen. And so with you, I want to ask about that. When you're putting a paper together, tell me how it started, because I really want to know. When you start, okay, you're the graphic designer. You have to go out. When you first started, you had to go out and get ads. Okay.
Get ads to pay for
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do you know what goes front, what goes middle? How do you create
Yeah.
how it flows in
Yeah.
order for a magazine?
Yeah, it really depends on people may want to buy the back page or
Okay.
the inside back page. People always say, "Oh, can I buy the cover?" We don't sell the cover.
Okay.
That's a story.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
a story. But it depends on the advertisers. Of course, we do a lot of house ads.
What
some
does that mean?
House ads, sponsorship ads.
Okay.
House ads. I'll say it like my son's restaurant, Colorado Creole Cafe. That's a house ad. Then sometimes we'll do some advertising trade. Like we work with let me see, I'd say we work with KUVO because
Okay.
we
Okay.
get spots on
That's
KUVO.
jazz. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we trade because we get advertising on KUVO and they do advertising in the Spectrum. So
Okay.
there's some like
Okay.
that. There's some
Fair exchange.
yeah,
Really.
there's
Okay.
some that we may do some with some tickets, like that. But we really want the dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we can't
Yeah.
have no tickets to the telephone company or
Yeah.
the internet
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
all of our other expenses. I mean, they're great benefits, and they're great benefits, and they're nice to have, and they're nice to have those relationships.
What gave you the name Urban Spectrum? Where'd you get that from?
You know what? We first started out. It was called the Denver Journal.
Okay.
That was the first. Was it the first three? It might have been the first 3 issues, but we changed it because it was so close to the Denver Business Journal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was too close to that. And then I don't know. think who was working with me then? I think it was Helen Littlejohn too.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, she was an editor at one time, and I'd almost say that she was instrumental in coming with that name as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Urban
It,
Spectrum.
it was sharp. Now I know back in the day, me being a teenager young, we had the weekly news that had been
Hmm.
around with Mr. Westbrooks and the
Right.
different ones. And then Randy came along with the Body of Christ. We really
Hmm.
didn't have a lot. And then when you came along with the Urban Spectrum, it took it to another level. Because
Hmm.
a lot of times here it was the gospel and this and the other, but you promoted jazz, whatever, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So with you just beginning, because here in Denver, I know for sure they have to know you. They just don't want to pour. If they don't know you or know your history,
Hmm.
they really don't want. They shy away. No, I don't know her. How did you get the people moving here? You got here, you start doing this. How did you get the people to pour out in your magazine of the Urban Spectrum? And you were new on the block, not from here, but you made it happen.
Oh, you have to make them phone calls and let them know.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh, I laugh because Sid Wilson, he's a real good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he swears up and down when he met me, he told me I saw him at it was a chicken restaurant. I think I forget which one it was, but he swears up and down and reminds me. He said, "When I met you, you said you was gonna start this publication. You kept,"
Okay.
and I don't even remember that.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
think about that because he says I told him I was gonna start this publication, um, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because you gotta
I can
get the
imagine.
finance. Yeah,
Whew.
you gotta do the cost. But the interesting thing about it is, I get I'm more disappointed. Be there's a lot of black businesses here, and we don't get the support that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that I think that we should,
Mm-hmm.
and that I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they think we're too expensive, but it's the white businesses that support that has taken, and it's all most of it's like the theaters and the events, the Dazzle Jazz, the
Mm-hmm.
DCPA,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lone Tree,
Mhm.
um,
The
and the,
DCPA, what does that stand for?
Denver Center for the Performing Arts.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
when they've
okay.
got the plays coming in.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, and
okay,
they got
okay.
one coming up right now, which I need to talk to him about, is Hell's Kitchen. I went to
Mm-hmm.
New York last year to see that for my birthday. That's Alicia Keys's, and that's coming up. MJ is coming
Oh,
up again, so I mean, but they know that we have the market. But
okay,
yeah,
okay.
but we still have to, still have to call. There's been Denver Water. There's a couple of them that I think that need to support us a little bit more. Like
Mm-hmm.
XL Energy.
Mm-hmm. What do you think it would take for them? They would, as far as wise, a lot of times it's like, I don't know. Sometimes they just don't. Do you find, because when I was talking to Pastor Odie Kennedy, she's on my show, and she was saying I had no idea what she went through. She was head of nursing. What all she went through, being the first black nurse of this and first black, and then being turned down. Oh no, and
hmm
and you working hard, and then looking at your color. Um, in the beginning, did you see a lot of that, or do you see it more?
I don't
They
think the
kind of
color matter. I think it's the product.
okay,
I think it's the
okay.
product. And one person I always talk about all the time. She didn't know me from a can of beans, and I just saw her the other day. It was Selena Dunham. She
Oh
she
yeah,
she
yeah.
supported Denver Urban Spectrum, and I'll never forget that. And I just saw her just yesterday, actually.
She was
Uh,
at Denise's Ed
well, I
Edwards.
didn't. Yeah, I saw her. Well, I didn't see her at Denise's. I saw
Oh, I
her
did.
at a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant we went to. We went over there to the restaurant in Holly,
Mm-hmm.
but she supported the Denver Urban Spectrum, and I was so glad when I met her,
Mm-hmm.
because
She's
she,
beautiful too.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some that just don't think have the need, or don't think that they should, or don't think cost too much. I don't know, you know, and there was some corporate accounts. You know, Moses Brewer, he supported us.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was Moses, um, Lubis, Valera Lubason, the rodeo,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are some that know the value of it, and
Mm-hmm.
and and know the value of black business. But right now it's a difficult time, only because people are thinking they're getting everything on the
Yeah,
internet, and
yeah,
the
yeah.
website, and yeah.
Yeah, you think,
But
but
there's
it's
so
not the
many, but
same.
there's so many people that still want to pick it up. They want to pick it up, feel it, and read it. I mean, we've got a big online presence, but COVID actually kind of helped because we didn't shut down. During that time, there's a lot of publications, shut down during that time. But it helped us get our online presence up more. Yeah, people started, looking at the publication.
Man,
online.
What inspired you? I mean, and I've just always been interested. That's when I'm having people on my show, I want to know of everything. What inspired you? That is inspiration that has taken people to another level. And I think what happens, people give up. You think you're going to get money or views or people following you quickly. I've learned it does not come overnight. And so with you and what you have done, what really inspired you to say, I don't care what nobody say, I'm doing this?
Yeah, I think just the stories when they come, it's like, look, Nicole Hannah Jones is coming. She did the 1619 project, and if people don't know about her, they need to be at New Hope. Is it New Hope? Shorter? New Hope? Where we at? She gonna be shorter. March 17th.
Okay.
March 17th. This is where people need to be to listen to her. And every year, I've been working on that committee for many, many years. That's what the Rachel B. Noel.
Yeah.
And I've been working with Buddy for many years. I mean, the ones that have come before, it was like Ashford and Simpson. He's been here before. What's his name? Ossie Davis. They've been speakers. I mean, these were like over 20 years ago when they had these speakers. But most recently, Van Jones was here last year. They've had Joy Reid here. I mean, they've had some wonderful people, that are speakers. And they had Cleo as a distinguished professor just a couple of years ago. But it's still so hard sometimes to get people and community out sometimes. It's still kind of hard.
Especially now, still even with churches. They're not having the members. They're still afraid. And then they talking about the flu and everything. But, I don't know. But now, in your writing, how do you go about when you pick someone that you want to do the story about? Have you heard about them? Have you followed them?
Well, we have writers' meetings once a month. And, the writers get together and they come up with brainstorm ideas. But sometimes the stories are already there. But when I'm on this committee and I say, oh, y'all got Nicole? Perfect. That's wonderful for Women's History Month.
Okay.
And, even Black History Month, when I went and met with Cedric Pride, had kept saying, come on over and see what I'm doing. And after I saw that, I said, this is worthy for a cover story. This is worthy for a cover story, what he's doing. And
he is. He's awesome. He's always pouring out.
Yeah, so that was worthy for a cover story. It's like in April, I have no idea what it's going to be yet.
Okay. Okay.
But I have no idea, not yet. But we get requests for stories, for certain months. June is always either Juneteenth, Black Music Month. Last year, because Otis Williams from the Temptations, he was here in January. He and the Four Tops.
Yeah.
And my friend Derek Holmes, he knows Otis. I said, Derek. I said, we got to go see Otis just like that. So then after the concert, I said, we got to have you on the cover for Black Music Month. He said, okay.
Okay.
And so that happened in, last June for Black Music Month. So, we got 12 issues. So, it's very limited. We always do like maybe Black Arts Festival, State of the City.
Yeah.
Different things like that. So some is kind of natural. Yeah. But this was great for Nicole Hannah Jones because it's Women's History Month.
Well, you're doing a good job. But I want to ask you, in everything, there's always trials and tribulations. Have you had a lot of people to try to come up against you? I think it's very good. But people you can do the best you can, they still going to find something. But have you ran up on where it's like, why are they doing this to me? I'm doing all I can. What's up with this?
I don't think I hear it on the outside, because it is appreciated. But internally, the last several years, I've really been trying to transition. I'm good. My birthday is coming up March 19th.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm going to, like I said, I'm a grandma. I'm a great grandmother.
You look good, girl. You better tell it, honey.
I'm a great grandmother.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I have been trying to, really transition, but it's difficult when you have your own business.
It is.
Because I could sell it, and it could go away. I could, and say, okay, bye bye. Don't it's gone, and I don't really want to do that yet. I was positioning. There's a couple situations where over the last 3 or 4 years, it was kind of positioned to move on. Didn't fell through. Both of them fell through. It was unfortunate, but I think God said, okay, this is not it. This is not ready yet, and I'm not ready for you to do this yet.
Okay.
And I'm healthy. It is a little bit more work because, but I've been blessed with some really good people. I think people were moved out, and there's some good people were moved in. That's how I look at it.
Now, when we had, there's one more thing I want to ask you about the urban spectrum, and then I'm gonna go further into some other questions. But, name some of your most difficult cases that you've had to deal with the urban spectrum where you said, okay, we're gonna do the story, and probably brought a lot of drama and the different things were going on. But give a couple of some of your most memorable, difficult. I had to do this story. It was hard even for me to do it, but I made it. And when I look back, I'm glad I did. But at that point, it was like, whoa, do I really want to do this? Or some of your difficult.
We haven't had any stories that brought negative drama.
Okay.
But we have had stories that have brought heartwarming drama.
Okay.
Some that we had to tell. Like I still think about June 9th, 1993, when Broderick Bell was shot. Because he was like part of my family.
Yeah, yeah.
He was 6 years old. And I remember that vividly because that's my son's birthday, June 9th. And he got shot when he was 6 years old. And, that's when the Bloods and the Crips, it was just the height of that.
Yep.
And that's when Wellington said, enough is enough, and I was really, and I'm still very good friends with Marie Facing, his mom.
That's my girl. She's sharp. I love
she's
her.
getting ready to have a birthday too on the 15th, But, it's like that because I'd go to the hospital with her, and I'll never forget, that was really traumatic. We did the parade, we had to,
all that.
Yeah, we organized the parade for him, and it was a parade of peace. I forgot the name of it, but I'll never forget. I'm in the hospital with her, and I'm sitting there, and I think I had my hand on his leg or something. He's 6 years old, and I said, Marie, he's in a coma. I said, Marie, his foot moved. I'm not gonna say what Marie said. Because, Marie can be raw.
Yeah, I know.
She said, B. I said, Marie, he moved his foot just like that. And that was the onset of him, coming back. Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. And
then with you being so close to her,
oh my God,
you really probably put a lot more input and just love and just, I got to do this for my friend.
Yeah, yeah. And during that time also, her father was missing, and I think when he came out of his coma, he even said that he had saw Granddaddy. He said Granddaddy, and her father was missing at that time, and yeah. But talking about the most difficult story was my mother.
Oh, I remember you told me that, girl.
When she passed away, November 3rd, 2008. And the unfortunate thing about that is she was killed in her home.
Yeah.
She was killed.
You were devastated. Oh, that was so sad.
At 80 years old. Yeah. Yeah, that was a really traumatic time.
And not to mention, but it was a family member.
Member, and he was found not guilty. But this was the night before Barack Obama went into office, the same day that his grandmother passed away. I had been at a Misty Oz. I was with Misty Oz too, I'm sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
So Missy and I, we were at a rally. I think it was the last rally. I'm sure it was the last rally that was here, and we were listening to Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm.
She was here, and I'll never forget. I mean, I wrote this book about my mom, because she said, you may have heard today that Toot died just like that. I was in there about 45 minutes, and within 45 minutes, when we came out of that rally, my phone was flooded with phone calls and text messages, and my brother, which my oldest brother, he when I called him and he said, well, baby girl, she's gone, just like that, And I said, what do you mean? And he said that she was found dead in the basement. She had, it was very traumatic. Yeah, down in her basement in her home.
Because I remember you had called me and you just knew that she's killed. You guys didn't know until later, and that even made it more so difficult because of who did it. So you have truly, I've watched you. I mean, you were devastated, and even I was just like, oh, poor B, but you made it. Yeah. But oh my God.
I had to go back and forth to Michigan probably 3 or 4 times, and then even at the end of the trial, sadly, I won't say unfortunately, but sadly, this was my great nephew. He was found not guilty, so.
Did that, and so, a lot of times say, well, I didn't believe in the death penalty until it happened to me. A lot of people, I don't claim death penalty, but when it happens to you, then it's like sometimes you see things different. But for him to be found, did that divide the family a lot?
So much. It is still divided. Yep, it still is divided.
Boy, see, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then for him not to be found not guilty, that's just another stab. You hear so much, and I remember I had family that got in an altercation. It was 2 cousins.
Yeah.
And they get in the party and stuff and doing what they do, and they got mad, and the one cousin ran over him. And so, I tell people now, it's so much, especially now, in the last 5 years, I've never seen so much hatred.
Yeah.
No love, no even with families. Oh, I don't like her, and she better not come to the funeral. And we're in a totally different time. And I said, if you can walk away, if you see it coming, walk away. Because I find, what good does it do? You ready to beat somebody and kill them, and then you hurt them, you go to jail, and they still going on doing what they're doing. And so, I don't know. We're just in a bad time. And I remember that was a difficult time for you. We pray for you all the time, and when that stuff happens, some families are divided. Some never get right.
Right.
Boy, that's deep.
Yeah.
So, and then you get to how did you become? You meet all these celebrities, and that's because of what you've been doing and writing stories. They know who you are. If they know you and they think you're pretty sharp, they'll contact you. But however y'all do it, but you always have top people. Girl, you be getting down. I be saying, you be taking the pictures with the stars and everything. I said, look at me.
Well, I think that just comes with the territory.
Man, I need to get some territory. No ways out. I'm playing.
I know.
I see it enough on funerals. But
I think that just comes with the territory. Because I was fortunate to meet Maya Angelou, Oprah, Barack, and he signed a couple of my books that I had did on him, so I got them under lock and key.
I know you do. Yeah, I know you do.
I've been fortunate. I go back to Dr. What's his name? Not Dr. Phil. The other. What was the other?
Doctor.
The one
show
host a long time ago. Phil Donahue.
Yeah.
Phil Donahue.
Oh, man.
Way back there, Phil Donahue. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And the comedians,
oh yeah, all
Cedric
them.
Bride. I mean,
Yeah.
Cedric Bride, Cedric the
Uh-huh.
Entertainer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it just comes really kind of with the territory,
That's
Yeah.
good. Well, you've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot. And then when you were going to well, it was your retirement party, which I looked at you and I said, she's not going to. Because you're the founder, you have your sons and everything, but it's amazing when you start. It's like you're the rock. And it's like, what are we gonna do and be done?
Well,
She's
you know
retired.
what? But it doesn't matter if I retire. I just want it to be positioned so that it can continue. I mean, I don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be there. I'm just concerned that I don't, I need to retire. I need to retire. I'm just wanting to be in a position so that it can continue on with the right people to continue it on.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's all I want.
Exactly. You've had people someone want to
Yeah.
invest and buy and then they go down the hill. It's over.
And that's a big possibility.
But I thought about Mr. Duncan with Duncan Men's Store. Gregory Hill. He was there forever working at him and Dora and Terry Janelle after they left and they worked Duncan Men's Store. And when he had sold it and he thought they were going to continue, Mr. Duncan said this. He thought it was going to keep going. He said, had he known they were going to let it go, he never would have sold it.
But businesses, like that are businesses. This is a voice for the community.
Exactly.
That's what it is there.
Exactly.
So that's what is more serving the community.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And so, but you have done a wonderful job. So after your big part and everything, that was so beautiful. Oh, you had it going on. And then we go on, and then I see B again. She's still part of that. That's her baby. That's your baby.
Yeah.
When you look at it, if you want to look at it.
But that was not really the total plan, though.
I know. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. So after you did that and you went on, and so you had another adventure you were doing, and you got into the African clothes.
Oh yeah, and I still got
beautiful.
got some African clothes in my garage.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. I was there, and I have some pictures. I got to give you one. Yeah. It was me and Adrian, and we were some of the guests that you had there.
Yeah.
And you had some bad stuff. Models. You're one of those. You create. You're visionary.
But you know what? Those came from Ghana. And that was through my friend, sister girl, Princess Asio Kanzi.
Okay.
So these were authentic clothes from I'm thinking of the label. I can't even think of it. But these were they were designer clothes. That they came from Ghana. And she, gosh, I'm looking at my card and I can't even think of the name of it.
Yeah,
but those were specifically from Ghana.
They were nice. Yeah. You got them big old pants, yeah. I ain't wore them yet. They were some big old pants. You got to be little child, so you be
white leg
girl. I
had mine on. People think that they're a skirt until
Girl, this had some rust and some brown. They were beautiful. Girl, I ain't put them things on yet. I said, girl, they were fluffy anyway. Child, I probably look like big as that couch. So I have, but one day I'm gonna put them on. I'm trying to do a little something.
But one of the things that I'm working on, which I'd like to talk about, is it's adult daycare.
Okay.
And I'm working on that with Zana from the Noor, where we had our events at Zana.
Okay.
And we're working at and hopefully, she's got the facility. I'm going to help her with the programming and getting the clients.
Okay.
So we've been working on that. My another one, I'd say like a daughter. She's helping me with that. But what we're going to have on that one, and we're working on getting clients, but we want to have programming, three different days of programming. We'd have one on education. One would be on safety. One would be health information. So that the seniors, the participants, that were coming, they would know about being scammed. Being
yes, okay.
But we're gonna have the community involved. We're gonna have speakers come in. People from the police department. I'd love to get Sheriff Dickinson there talking about safety precautions or whoever. We'd have technical stuff where they can learn. Yeah.
Okay.
But the fun part about it is because of my circle of friends, we're gonna have things in there like where they can have a yoga class, or they can teach
Okay.
you
Jazzercise, but more mellow,
yoga
not
class.
just
Yeah,
all the way
yeah.
off the
And
bottom.
then I've got a friend that's got clothes. A little fashion show. Somebody can do a cooking class.
Yes.
Just different things. It would be not just the bingo games, and not just the playing cards, things like that. But these would be all educational and educational and health.
What
Yeah.
made you get in there? A lot of people don't be bothered with elderly people. When they get
Well,
older, they be
I'm
like,
gonna be a client when we get it set up, so that's why.
you know. Oh
But
man,
no,
that sounds so good.
she reached out to me actually because when we did have our the celebration, it was our 37th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
It was also my semi-retirement party,
Mm-hmm.
and it was also for the Ruth Boyd Elder Abuse Foundation because I have a foundation in honor of my mother.
Oh
So
yeah.
after Zana, saw that what the event was, and she said, "B," she said, "I'd like to work with you to help you raise money for
Okay.
the
Okay.
foundation." So
Okay.
that's the goal also. So that's going to be a program through the Ruth Boyd Elder Abuse Foundation. Yeah,
Now,
no
is
doubt.
will there be a charge? How do they go about
Then we get
getting
it through
in house?
Medicaid. Medicaid pays for that.
Okay.
Medicaid
Okay.
pays for that. Pick
Oh,
them
that's
up. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So we're working on clients, and we get the program, all outline. Then we'll, just get the clients, and they can come over there every day or whenever days they want to come.
Oh.
Adult daycare. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, but I don't think there's that many like what we're planning on
That'll be
finding.
so. Like if they need to ride the bus, would pick them up like they're going to
No,
school.
yeah, they'll pick them up, bring them over there. They can have the day. They get food. It's just a day, so they
Oh,
don't.
that is really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, hmm
And I know how you when you get through with it, it's gonna be off the chains. I
yeah.
already know.
hmm
Cause you have what made you have such a heart for elderly?
I think because of my mom. My mom's 80
Okay.
years old. She got killed in her home. I don't want anybody to go through anything like that because there's a lot of elders that are being abused. There's a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
there's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
elders being abused
Oh
right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think about that Guthrie case, that poor woman.
Yeah. Did they
You
find out
know,
any? No
that
more news, huh?
nothing, nothing at all.
Yeah.
And they keep saying they hope they find her, and I pray, but it's just so unfortunate. And
hmm
her 84 years old.
Well, that's
Then you
interesting. I
wonder.
just thought about that. Haven't
Oh
even heard
yeah. Oh
anything on that
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Now with the war.
I know. I know. We just have to stay prayed up. We don't know. God is He, as it says, God will fight your battle, and He will. It's not always when we think it,
hmm
but this too shall pass.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't know when, however, but God is in control, and so
He
I just
is.
pray. I see
Yeah.
people are afraid now. They don't know if they're going to have food next month, and
hmm
I'm going on 67 years old. I have never seen the
Yeah.
fear of people of what I see now.
Yeah. Well, I got you beat by 67. I'll be 76 in
Girl, go
March.
on. Oh, let me know.
In March.
Ooh, girl, you better represent.
March.
You look good
Thank
though.
you.
You look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So,
But
I
yeah, but when you say God is in control, it's like every month, even right now, the publication. Sometimes I'm thinking, I say, oh, I need this, and I sometimes I just let go, and then it comes, you know, it does. It's like I know I shouldn't have been concerned. I know I shouldn't have been worried. I just put it out
I
there,
know. I
and
know.
then
I know.
it's
I
answered.
when I was talking one time, I said, "Have you ever been where because I'm a prayer warrior. I pray the walls down, God be moving everything,
hmm
but you can get so overwhelmed that
hmm
you can't even pray."
Right.
My mother, I used to say, I used to, when my grandmother be in the kitchen, she'd be cooking, precious Lord, take my hand. And I used to think death, I was young, and she'd be singing, and, Jesus be a rock. And when you look back, those old songs, yeah, that's fine with the
hmm
young and how they change in the gospel sound, but
hmm
those old songs,
hmm
they kept folk,
Right. hmm
kept your mind stayed on Jesus and
hmm
the different things. But I remember sometime my mother, she would say, It would come from the gut. But God, even with that, God still hears. And so we just have to continue to pray and look to the hills from which cometh our help. And when you look, and he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time.
Yeah.
And so I just thank God. I thank God for you. I'm going to wind down, but I thank God for you and your experience, your class, and what you do. You have just, I have admired you for a long time. The old saying they used to say, you don't be careful because you don't know who's watching you. Somebody could be my thing when I work with Miss Kirk, watching her. She used to remind me of Alina Horn when I worked with her for like 5 years, and just a jazzy lady, and the older ladies that represent the class. And watching you when you were, it was a long time, but you've always had a style.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you. Yeah. And them handsome boy, that one, Donald, can cook. I'm done. I got to go. We haven't went there yet. I have to go because I've been so busy, but I need to go. And every time I go, I get on Facebook. I pump restaurants on the radio. I'm on every Sunday. And I want to tell you this. If there's something that you need from me, because I'm on Facebook. That's what my biggest thing when I first started. And things that you want me to put out there as far as wise is when this daycare is opening. Now that I know your restaurant, I pump businesses, I pump things that are going on. Know this, that I'm available to do what I can because I'm always about trying to help other people, especially if it's something about getting someone better. It might have been rough, but then listening, your daycare, that's interesting to me. And I know a lot of people that could probably kick in. How do they go about getting finding when you're ready? Let me know.
Yeah, we're working on the marketing.
Let me know. And then I would love it, and I'll do what I can to pump it, girl.
Yeah, we're working on the marketing. We've got a lot of places that we got to reach out to and introduce and let them know because we just need to get them registered even before it opens.
Yeah.
Of
course.
Before it's a couple of months, they just got to get registered.
Well, let me know because I would love to, help that. I can do advertising, but my big old mouth, I can spread the word, huh?
Yeah.
So and I've been,
talk about knowing how long. It's like Miss KDK.
I know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was 1990, girl. Right. And that was we had it at the Hilton downtown. I forgot what it's called now. But that was the thing, boy. We had Barry White was a judge, and he was a judge. Oh, wow. I got a picture. I'm at the Post.
Wow.
He was a judge, and I had already been there, was getting ready for some stuff, but that was the day. That was the day.
We just have to give props and rest in peace to Dr.
Yeah, Dr. Daddy. Yeah. That was like another
an article on him in here.
Yeah, that was like another dad to me. You see, I'm representing. Yeah. They're watching, they're able to see Urban Spectrum. Yeah. Y'all need to pick up one. It's got a lot of info in there. A lot of info. We're about ready to wind down, but in my closing, B, is there anything, if someone that you know that is young and they wanted to be in journalism or graphic design or anything, what would you recommend someone that has never, they're dreaming, they don't even know how to get started? What would you recommend to young women or even men?
Yeah.
How to start getting this going, their dream?
You know what? Things are so different now. We had a Urban Spectrum Youth Foundation journalism camp for many, many years. And I still rant and rave about Kia Milan because she went through the program.
Yes.
I'll never forget when she came over to my house with her little floppy disk with some writers, with some stories. She's married, she's got a 6-year, she's 30-something years old, but I knew her since she was like 12 years old.
Man.
Yeah. But, what I want them to know, too, is that, you don't learn everything on social media. It's so much fake news out there, and don't believe everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Because, and now with the AI, that's really, you really don't know you almost don't know what you're looking at sometimes. I mean, it does have its good points, but you have to be careful because so many people say, I can't stand AI and that, but no. And actually, this was AI generated. Because we couldn't, because of the legal, this is Nicole, okay, but but this is our Women's History Month also, so we generated this, so it kind of similar. It looks like her, but it's not totally her. So we didn't want to say that, we had to put a disclaimer. so that it's
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
because we don't, she's a national figure. We gotta respect. Yeah.
Exactly.
But we did get a
Exactly.
beautiful picture of her in here.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
had to pay for that one.
Sharp
Yeah, we
lady,
had to pay
sharp
for that one.
lady.
But so with AI and what's going on with AI, there's some pros and there's some cons.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
it's taken over a whole lot of jobs. I would tell young people to jump in and learn because it ain't going away.
No.
It's not going away. I mean,
Growing bigger and
I
bigger.
think my granddaughter, she probably gonna know more about that, than I do. And
Uh huh.
I'm trying to stay up on it myself as much as I can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But journalism, um, it's still very important, because it's more important now for them to get the word out and tell our stories. We need to
Boy,
tell our stories.
it is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So you never know. And with this is a whole nother world of different things now.
Mhm.
So, but I just thank you for being on. You've been a blessing. I like when my guests come on to let them let people see another side. Because
Mhm.
you're about business, you're quiet, but this is real talk. You brought some things out. I know your words will help. You have, and I'm one of these. The best teacher is one with experience.
Mhm.
If you haven't experienced anything, you really can't teach me. You can read the books and say, well, this, you do this, and this, that, and another, but you ain't went through nothing.
Yeah.
You can't really help
Yeah.
nobody. So, I just continue to do you.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'm so, you're a special person to me.
Thank you.
And just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for being with me. Real Talk with Lequita
Real
Taylor.
talk.
Real Talk. All right, you all. I'm going to close. I want to say good night. Again, continue to follow us, continue to share. I have a lot of people that are calling me now that want to be on my program. I have some really top guests that are coming. And I just want even real people that ain't did nothing. They just want to tell their story. Because some people just want to tell. And no one's in here but us, as far as wise as me talking and have it your way. You just can't be out here cussing and all that because I'll shut you down. Eastside for real. So again, you all again, pray for us. Keep listening, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Because again, we're growing. We're going to get bigger with God on our side. With God first, we all can make it. So until we talk, good night, you all. Bye bye.